Dr. V.M. Tiwari, Chair of the Local Organizing Committee, and Dr. T. Srinagesh, Convener of the LOC.
Recording in progress.
On the screens, we will be joined by Dr. Monica Korte, Secretary General of IAGA from Germany, and Dr. Johannes Schweitzer, Secretary General of IASPEI from Norway. Also joining us virtually, Dr. Shailesh Naik, co-chair of the National Advisory Committee from Bangalore, and our chief guest for the occasion, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, Secretary, Department of Science and Technology and Minister of Earth Sciences from New Delhi. This virtual mode of conference has made it possible to have it in the first place. So that's the tribute to technology. It has also taken many of us, both organizers and participants, through quite a learning experience as we tackle the capriciousness of the all-powerful internet and the baffling nature of digital links and their compatibilities. We have also missed our tours and excursions, impromptu socials, IAGA and IASPEI dinners in the ambience of the Pearl City of Hyderabad. Nevertheless, we are very glad to have had a fulfilling and productive scientific assembly. Balancing the global time zones with an optimal layout of oral and poster sessions and business meetings was a major challenge for the scientific program committee. Compromises had to be made in the process of juggling the flexibility needed by conveners and participants and the uniformity demanded by the virtual platform. If you have these problems, I sincerely apologize for them. The video on demand are facing some delays. Uploading will be completed by next week. All registered delegates will continue to have access to the portal and are welcome to view the archived uploads till the end of September. That's all from me. Now the Chair LOC will present a brief report of the Assembly.
Namaskar and very good evening to the colleagues from Asia, morning to the colleagues from America, and very good afternoon to the colleagues and participants from Europe and parts of the world. It's a great privilege once again welcoming all of you to another event which we call the closing ceremony of IAGA-IASPEI Joint Scientific Assembly. We have very fortunate to have the chief guest of today, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences and Department of Science and Technology. The co-chair of the National Advisory Committee, Dr. Shailesh Naik, former Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences and Director, NIASP Bangalore. And also we have a privilege of having physically present with us the Director of Indian Institute of Geomagnetism and member of National Advisory Committee, Professor P.S. My dear colleagues from CSIR-National, Dr. Srinagesh, convener of the Local Organizing Committee, Sushmita, who has been handling the issues related with the scientific committee, Dr. Prashant Patro, person who does not seem to be appearing on the screen, but has been behind the scene for organization of this event. And lastly but not least, the Secretary Generals of two international associations, IAGA and IASPEI, who have not left a stone unturned for the success of this assembly since their visit of Hyderabad in the early this year. I would briefly talk about what happened in last few days and probably in fact 2 weeks, which started from August 16 and now culminating in a today after the IAGA-IASPEI closing ceremony and now IAGA-IASPEI joint scientific closing ceremony. During these 2 weeks, we had the participation of more than 800 delegates across the world from 57 countries, and largest from USA. And I'm also very pleased to report to all of you that India has not been delegates from India has not been left behind. Fortunately, majority of the delegates have attended the sessions, and the record shows that most of the halls had been full by the presenters and the audience other than the presenters. If you see the table which suggests the different categories of the meetings, Joint Scientific Assembly Symposia, IAGA-IASPEI Joint Symposia, IAGA Business Meetings, and IAGA CSIR Diamond Jubilee, as well as we had a good exhibitions from national as well as the international organizations. The largest amount, if we see, had the poster presentation. We had to accommodate them because of the paucity of the time, and it was very difficult to extend the virtual meeting for so long. We started with the inaugural of summer school, IAGA summer school, and gift workshops, IASPEI summer schools, and we had several participants connecting from different parts of the world in these summer schools and the gift workshop. And I'm very pleased to see that majority of them were young, either young researchers or young teachers. And they are going to take the flags of IAGA and IASPEI in the different parts of the world with the knowledge imparted to them. We also had a great privilege and honor having the leaders of the geophysics, the president of IUGG, IAGA, IASPEI, and Secretary General of the ISC, along with our very distinguished people from India, the Honorable Minister for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Secretary for Government of India, Dr. Professor Ashutosh Sharma and Professor Shekhar Shivande, who is also DG-CSIR, and the colleagues from Ministry of Earth Sciences, Department of Science and Technology, and CSIR. We had another very important event during this Joint Scientific Assembly, commemorating the 60 glorious years contribution of CSIR-National Research Institute, and all the directors, former directors and present director have participated in that symposia and presented the work related to the mainly to the IAGA and IASPEI themes, as well as we had two more senior colleagues, Dr. Nandin Nagarajan and Dr. Saurabh Verma, in that. We can see that we had a really proud moment when we have not only the former director of the CSIR-National and Secretary Government of India, but the president, past president of IAGA, Professor Harsh Gupta, who had been architect of seeing that IAGA-IASPEI Joint Scientific Assembly organized in a successful manner with his large experience of IUGG and other international activities. On 22nd, we can see that a large number of papers presented, and we had more than 30 poster presentations spread over the different symposia, IAGA and IASPEI both, and parallelly we had business meetings of both the associations. Similarly, we started on 23rd the first plenary lecture, and that was a mind-boggling lecture which talks of the journey of time and space of Indian subcontinent, dating back as deep as thousands of million years. There had been a large, again, number of symposia of IAGA and IASPEI and poster presentations on 23rd as well. Similarly, we had another plenary lecture by Vinod Srinivasan talking of role of core mental interaction in the geodynamo and how the magnetic field changes over time and space over the planetary body and particularly over the Earth's surface. And that was a very well attended, again, a plenary lecture followed by the meetings of all joint scientific assemblies, so on. This meeting also had provided, so virtually, the IAGA ceremony opening, the meetings of their business meetings, and yesterday we had another marvelous talk taking us much deeper to the Earth, going through the seismological waves using different techniques and coding what are the challenges in the lower mental dynamics and code. The presentation again was attended by more than 100 people virtually, and a large number of people had clicked to download the video, which will be made available very soon to all the delegates. Today, you all know we had several sessions, and one of the very interesting sessions which I was attending was outreach session of both the Joint Scientific Assembly, both the associations, and it was very nice to see the presentations relating to the public outreach, using the public and collecting the data, reaching to the public for their safety and so on, and developing the knowledge base through the data generation by involving the school students, teachers, and so on. So, in nutshell, in summary, I must say that all these days we had a very successful participations of the colleagues from different parts of the world, and we had also opportunity to recognize few of the very legendary workers like Barbara, and I can say men who are for their seminal contribution in field of seismology and geomagnetism. With this, I would like to once again thank one and all for making this joint scientific assembly, IAGA-IASPEI, a grand success, particularly both the associations which have stood behind us to see that we are very well connected scientifically and logistically to all delegates and participants of this meeting. I look forward to meet all of you in physical IUGG Berlin 2023, and though we missed, but we once again look for another possibility and opportunity to host all of you in the beautiful city of Hyderabad, India, which has many more things to tell. But with this, I once again take the opportunity to thank our very distinguished colleagues and our leaders in science and the people who make difference in the policies. All they join together for this valedictory, and they will also be giving their good wishes and blessing for future of associations and IUGG. Thanks a lot.
Monica to share her opinions and thoughts on the
I couldn't understand anything, sorry, but I think I am the next one. So, dear participants,
Monica?
yes, it is my turn, correct? Can you hear me? The sound quality was a little bit.
Outside.
Okay. Dear participants, dear honored guests, as the IAGA-IASPEI Joint Assembly 2021 has come to its end, we are looking back on the very first fully virtual assembly for the two associations. This was clearly not planned, and I assume that, like me, many participants feel very sorry that we couldn't visit Hyderabad and beautiful India to attend this event in person and to interact personally with colleagues from all over the world as we are used to. Nevertheless, we saw a lot of exciting science this week, and we were able to carry out important IAGA business in our business meetings. I first want to thank all the conveners and IAGA officers who shaped the scientific sessions and who keep IAGA active. I've had feedback from several sides that the participants in general were quite happy with this virtual assembly. It is thanks to the local organizers that this was possible in a suitable environment. This was a huge challenge as experience didn't exist on either side. All involved in the organization faced unexpected challenges, and we noticed some potential problems at quite last minute. The local organizers did a tremendous job under the difficult conditions of the ongoing pandemic. I want to thank the National Advisory Committee, represented in our planning meetings by Professor Harsh Gupta, the local organizing committee, led by the director of the CSIR-National Geophysical Research Institute, Dr. Tiwari, the operational committee, led by Dr. Sri Nagesh, for their excellent work to make all of this happen. In particular, I want to thank Dr. Kusumita Arora, who was the association's main contact point for the implementation of the program and who showed unwearied commitment to sort out the enormous amount of detailed challenges and requests from IAGA, even while the conference was already running. So, as participant of this joint assembly, unfortunately, we won't have memories of Hyderabad, but facing climate change and striving to reduce carbon footprint, I would expect that virtual and hybrid meetings are part of our future. So we will remember the Hyderabad IAGA-IASPEI Joint Assembly as an important first step towards this future. Thank you all.
Thank you for your kind words. Our next speaker is Dr. Johannes Schweitzer.
Dear distinguished guests, dear colleagues, a very important moment of the history of seismology is related to India. In the 1890s, when seismology was still in a very premature stage, the Irish-English geologist and seismologist Richard Dixon Oldham worked at the Indian Geological Survey. In 1897 occurred the magnitude 8 Shillong Plateau or Assam earthquake, which was cited several times this week. And Oldham investigated not only the damage and surface effects of this very strong event, but he also, in addition, collected instrumental observations of this earthquake from many very, very early seismic stations, and in particular from Italy. With this data, he was able to distinguish for the first time between P and S waves and could confirm the earlier theoretical predictions. When I came to visit NGRI in Hyderabad last February, I was very much interested to learn about the modern seismology in India. The main purpose of our visit was, of course, to prepare this conference, and we all had the feeling we are on a good way, and we were looking forward to an interesting assembly in 2021. I'm sure most of us would have preferred a conference face-to-face, but then came this pandemic and changed everything. And as mentioned several times, we had to change all plannings. During the last year, the chair of the Scientific Program Committee, Kusumita Arora, had to organize numerous video conferences with us to organize and to implement all these changes and to coordinate this virtual assembly. Kusumita, many thanks for your great work under these special circumstances. I can report now that we just finished the IAGA-IASPEI closing plenary. During this plenary, the following resolution had been adopted, and I want now to share my screen that you can see the same what the delegates, the IAGA-IASPEI delegates saw. And I would like to share this resolution with you. Recognizing the enormous efforts required to prepare and run the third IAGA-IASPEI Joint Scientific Assembly during the worldwide pandemic, IASPEI is grateful to the CSIR, NGRI in Hyderabad, India, and the local organization committee and its chair, Dr. Virendra M. Tiwari, as well as the Scientific Program Committee and its chair, Dr. Kusumita Arora, for a memorable online meeting. With these words, I would now like to finish and to hope to get a chance to meet you somewhere in the future face to face. So please, stay healthy, that we have a chance for this, and thank you.
Thank you, Johannes, for your appreciation.
Oh, I have to stop sharing. No, okay.
I invite our co-chair of the National Advisory Committee, Dr. Shailesh Naik, to share his thoughts and experiences.
Thank you very much, Professor Ashutosh Sharma, dignitaries of IAGA and IASPEI, Dr. Virendra Tiwari, and my colleagues in NGRI, and dear participants. I'm glad that International Association of Geomagnetism and Aeronomy and International Association of Seismology and Physics of the Earth's Interior agreed to host this scientific assembly in India, which had provided an opportunity to CSIR-NGRI to commemorate its Diamond Jubilee by hosting such a prestigious international event. My sincere thanks and appreciation to both the association of the IUGG for their kind gesture. I have been keenly observing, though from a distance, the preparation of this event as a chair of National Advisory Committee, and I might express my satisfaction that the CSIR-NGRI has shouldered this responsibility of hosting this joint scientific assembly, and I congratulate NGRI, IAGA, and IASPEI for this successful event. The physical and chemical processes of the interior of the planet Earth are extremely complex, and unraveling them requires careful acquisition of a variety of data sets collected over a long period of time. In this regard, the activities promoted by these two associations and the patient work carried out by generations of scientists need to be complemented. In the last 2 decades, the technological advancement in Earth observation systems have been a game changer, making large data sets available to scientists that could never be imagined before. This provided opportunities as well as challenges of comprehending the data with models and analytical techniques. This also allowed us to analyze the big data, also the machine-based information modeling, as well as the interpretation. In recent years, the technological development in observation or measurement of various phenomena, data sciences, computing, and communication have revolutionized our understanding about Earth processes, phenomena, and their innovative applications. As for example, the World Magnetic Model, which is released recently, has become an indispensable to smartphone and consumer electronics companies to provide consumers accurate compass apps, maps, GPS services, apart from being standard navigation tool for aviation sector. The need of the hour is not only to interact with other branches of earth sciences and engineering, but also with the social scientists in a view of large impact of natural and anthropogenic activities on the earth processes. For example, the triggered earthquakes due to various engineering and resource extraction activities. I understand that there was a session to discuss some of this anthropogenic seismic activities to discuss in this scientific assembly. One of the ideal sites to study such human intervention and earth processes is the Koyna region in Western India, where Indian researchers are working through a pioneer program of a scientific drip drilling in an intraplate seismic zone to understand earthquake processes. The pilot borehole of 3 km depth already been completed, and observations are undergoing and being analyzed. Another major study, which is related to Indian Ocean Geoid Law, also covering Indian Shield area, has been one of the outstanding geoscientific challenges. A major program by deploying large number of OBS to make measurements and to understand this phenomena has been undergoing. I am sure that the deliberations during the assembly were exciting and helped to learn from each other in order to address frontier science issues and technological developments. Sharing of geoscientific information is vital for pooling of intellectual resources in understanding the Earth. I am very optimistic that this platform will facilitate exciting international scientific collaborations to take today's geophysical research onto the next higher pedestal for the benefit of the humanity. I wish very best, stay healthy, and thank you very much.
Mr. Sharma, we have been very privileged to have you with us right from the beginning, inaugural into the closing ceremony. And I request you for your remarks.
Was I called? I could not hear very well.
Yes, sir. Please.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, you can hear me.
If you cannot hear me well, I will cut my address short. So please just let me know. Okay, not much point mumbling if you cannot hear me. So thank you very much. Congratulations for a very successful conclusion of this international meeting. I'm sure everybody enjoyed it. I see that there are still 65 people joining us at the conclusion. So it must have been highly successful, interesting, and useful meeting. I'm delighted to see Dr. Shailesh Nayak, Dr. Jonas Shrivastava, Dr. Monica Corte, and Dr. V.M. Tiwari with us at the conclusion of this meeting. I'm going to just tell you some things that you already know. And so those things are that geophysics, of course, is a multidisciplinary area, and it includes subjects like geology, seismology, meteorology, planetary sciences, oceanography, geomagnetism, and geodesy. India has hosted the IAGA-IASPEI Joint Scientific Assembly after 20 years. So 20 years, of course, is a long time, and this is so useful for India that we could host it here and that people would greatly benefit by this interaction. This is an important international event where scientists exchange ideas and research on global platform on the aspects of geomagnetism, seismology, and physics of the Earth's interior. The event being held in India will immensely benefit scientists, Indian scientists, of course, including Indian scientists, research institutions, and departments to forge meaningful R&D collaborations in different areas of study. I understand that more than 850 scientists from 57 countries attended the assembly in spite of the difficult time of corona pandemic. The scientific program consisted of 53 symposia. IAGA and IASPEI cover a vast domain of solid earth sciences and aeronomy, from the Earth's internal structure, geodynamics, natural hazards, earthquake genesis, to observation and simulation of solar and planetary magnetic field and space weather. The knowledge base will be of immense help to deal with events like earthquakes, tsunamis, cyclones, and landslides. The Assembly must have provided a great platform for global researchers to have equitable exchange of knowledge, values, and cultural aspects. Understanding the ongoing changes, emerging risks, and local to global hazards associated with Anthropocene is clearly within the purview of geosciences. India has faced many destructive earthquakes. More than 58% of India's landmass is prone to earthquakes of moderate to very high intensity. In the last 9 decades, India has seen at least 5 large earthquakes, in addition to smaller ones that may have been a little less destructive. Now, the goal 11 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals aims to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. This includes the promotion of resilience to disasters such as earthquakes. Many of India's cities that lie in high-intensity zones, determined by seismic microzonation. Seismic sustainability stands on the pillars of environment, of society, and economy. And all of these play a vital role in disaster risk reduction and achieving sustainability. The Indian government provides an overall analysis of urban vulnerability and keeps updating seismic microzonation, which is made available to local governments and the public as well. The contributions made by Indian and global scientific community are the driving forces for the government to take the right decisions for the creation of a disaster resilient society. The Himalayan region is seismically one of the most active continental regions. It experienced at least 4 M8 earthquakes during an active phase from 1897 to 1952. However, no such earthquakes have occurred since 1952. Detailed investigations show that the region is currently in a seismic dormancy phase and enough strain has been accumulated to maybe generate another M8 earthquake. I call upon the Indian scientists along with international community to carry out R&D studies to adopt sustainable strategies for the reduction of damage in this area. So international science and technology cooperation is very important, and especially in this particular area, that's going to affect very large number of people. The International Cooperation Division of Department of Science and Technology is responsible for negotiating, concluding, and implementing science, technology, and innovation agreements between India and other countries. And it also provides interventions on STI aspects in international fora. The international cooperation in STI is realized by bilateral cooperations, multilateral and regional cooperations, and thematic cooperations. And in addition, we are promoting strategic international collaborative research program and collaboration hubs for international research programs, where disaster management and earth science related programs are given emphasis. They are certainly very desirable programs. Under bilateral cooperation, India has cooperation agreements with 83 countries, which cover most of the countries which participated in the joint assembly here. All the delegates may make use of a JSA to forge important scientific collaborations with India in the areas of geomagnetism, seismology, and physics of the Earth's interior. We welcome international cooperation a great deal, and we value it a great deal. So I urge all of us to explore the possibilities of very strong cooperation in these areas. Finally, policy plays a very important role in geosciences. Disasters related to natural events continue to grow in number, in intensity, and impact. In many regions, natural hazards are becoming direct threats to national security because their impact is amplified by rapid growth and unsustainable development practices, both of which increase exposure and vulnerability of communities and capital assets. Reducing disaster risk then becomes a foundation for sustainable development. Science-driven approaches to disaster risk reduction and disaster risk management can help communities and governments become more resilient and reduce the human and economic impacts of disasters. Science plays, of course, we know, a significant role in all stages of disaster risk and its management, often giving rapid scientific assessment and usable knowledge to decision makers. Scientists can do more to co-produce and deliver scientific knowledge on disasters and disaster risk for policymakers and society by giving robust evidence-based frameworks and a variety of knowledge products. For example, the concepts, the tools, technology, data, advice, training, and all of that for social policy engagement for development and for implementation. To conclude, I reiterate that the joint assembly of IAGA and IASPEI could not have been more timely, given the vast importance and direct societal relevance of the topics covered during the past 7 days. I hope that this joint assembly has been able to lubricate the thought processes among scientists and energize the young generation in not only carrying forward the accomplishments, but also making them better in the years to come. It will remain an endeavor to host such an event physically in the future whenever the opportunity arises. I wish all the participants all the very best in networking, in taking forward the stuff that we learned from each other, and find new ways of cooperating and benefiting everybody here. Thank you very much. All the best. A good day.
Thank you, Professor Sharma. Your point is very well taken. The communities of IAGA and IASPEI continue to endeavor to do science to help people and also to engage with them. They have very large outreach programs to spread awareness. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. We also have the member of the National Advisory Committee, Dr. Suresh, and we would like to present the answers to him. At the end, we bring to you a touch of Indian culture through an instrumental recital of Shri Devanjan Bhattacharya on the shabod, accompanied on the tabla.
Namaskar and greetings. This is Devanjan Bhattacharya extending a very warm welcome to all the respected guests and delegates of Joint Scientific Assembly IAGA-IASPEI 2021. My heartfelt thanks to the entire organizing committee for inviting me to perform a Sarod recital with tabla. I am a President's Gold Medal Award-winning Sarod artist from Kolkata, India. Academically, I am a postgraduate electronics and telecommunication engineer from Indian Institute of Engineering, Science and Technology, Shibpur. Before I begin, I would like to say a few words about the instrument which I play, the sarod. The sarod is an ancient lute of India, which is derived from the Afghan folk instrument called rabab. What makes sarod most difficult yet distinct from other instruments is that it is completely fretless and it has 25 strings or keys. We use a plectrum made of coconut shell in order to pluck the notes. The tabla, which is the accompanying percussion instrument today, is one of the most popular and traditional percussion instruments of India, comprising of 2 different drums. Like in the Western music system, we have scales. Similarly, in Indian music system, we have ragas, which are grammatically designed musical structure over which we can improvise. Similarly, we have a concept of tals, which is the rhythmic structure over which we play the ragas. For today, I have selected a very popular yet melodious evening melody called Rag Yaman Kalyan, which I will be playing over a 16-beat cycle called Teen Tal, which will be played from slow to fast tempo. So hope you will all enjoy today's performance, Rag Yaman Kalyan in Tintal. Thank you. Hope you all enjoyed today's performance. Look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Please stay safe. Thank you. Namaskar.
So we bid you all farewell. Note of thanks and Dr. Srinivas.
The expressions
Good evening from the city of Hyderabad, for being old. A city which contributed in a little way in its own humble beginnings. In 1925, the first seismometer was set up, and it contributed the face data Indian Seismological Center as the registry of face data, which was known as HYT. We had the largest telescope here and contributed about 4 lakh stars which were identified by NASA. And it is also known that the European was discovered here at Albatross. So the city has got a lot of scientific heritage. And today, not only the National Geophysical Research Institute under the umbrella of Council of Scientific Research, the National Remote Sensing Center, and the Indian Tsunami Warning Center under the aegis of Ministry of Earth Sciences is housed in this city. So we have a lot of synergies, and thank you. Our humble beginning began in 1999 when we went to Birmingham and bid for IUG. It took almost 22 years at a joint scientific assembly. In 1984, when this institute was 23 years old, we had the IAGA-IASPEI regional assembly set up. And now we have 60 years, and we're very proud that we have this assembly, the joint scientific assembly. A lot of work had gone through. We had to work day and night to get this symposium going. I thought organizing a physical meeting is more difficult, but virtual meetings are much, much more difficult. Of course, challenges provide opportunities, and we have grasped this and grabbed this. First of all, I would like to place my thanks and regard to the Honorable Minister of Science and Technology conference, and who stood by of rock in trying to see that this conference is successful. And the Ministry of Earth Sciences, especially Dr. M. Rajivan, who is the chairman of the National Advisory Committee, Dr. Shailesh Naik, Professor Harsh Gupta, who was the former IUT past president, the Physical Research Laboratory Director, Dr. Anil Bharadwaj. We have today and the midst of us the Director of Human Institute of Human Resources, Professor D.S. Ramesh, the Director General of CSIR, and of course the local organizing committee, Dr. Tiwari. The Scientific Program Committee, we know that Secretary General is there, plus the former President, IUT President, Professor Archana Bhattacharya, Dr. Prakash Kumar, and Dr. Smita Arora played a sterling role in trying to shape the scientific program. Having 53 joint sessions, 53 sessions, and about 16 or 14 joint sessions, having 14 parallel sessions with the talent for us, and having these business meetings. Much more which we were very excited was to see, especially post sessions, dragging past the 10:30 or 10:45, 10:30 time, 10:15 time, going as late as 11:30 Indian Standard Time. That was very heartening to see that people were very excited, though it was being physical in nature. So the local organizing committee, I would not like to repeat the thanks to Dr. Tiwari, Dr. Brijesh Bansal from Ministry of Earth Sciences, Vinod Kumar, Group Director from National Remote Sensing Center, Professor Geeta Vicharya from IAG Mumbai, Professor Shari Vahan from IIT-IS in Dhanbad, G. Mohan from IIT Mumbai, S.K. Sinha, Professor Deepa Nandar, Dr. Balkrishnan Nayak, David Azari, and all others. Today's guest of honor and the co-chair of the National State Board, Dr. Shailesh Naik. We are extremely thankful, sir, for giving an illuminating lecture and trying to sensitize how important the census is, and especially Professor Ashutosh Sharma, who talked about the policies as well as forging alliances and how to mitigate earthquake hazard, which is very important. And sir, let me tell you, today we had about 6 hours of the BIS Bureau of Indian Standards meeting, where we are now inching towards releasing the revised probabilistic seismic hazard map for this country, with probably 5 zones for its discussion and finalization. So there are concerted efforts in this country following the international practices, trying to mitigate hazard by proposing probabilistic seismic hazard, and many more other studies are happening. Thank you, sir, Mr. Ashutosh Sharma, for delivering that wonderful lecture and trying to assure the international community that this country wants international collaborations, especially to energize the students and take them forward. Last but not the least, I would fail in my duty. I would not be thanking my administration of this institute who helped us all through trying to see that this conference is successful. And we have a committee which 4 scientists, which is called the Operational Committee. Everyone knows Smita Arora, because she played a vital role in shaping of the scientific program. Dr. Prashant Patro, who was taking care of the IAGA-IASPEI secretary. There was one bridge between the scientists, the organizers, as well as the administration. That was Dr. N.J. Nandan, who without him, it wouldn't have been possible for us to conduct this program, especially this virtualism, in a very smooth way, because we had to cut a lot of red tape and try to see we follow the government route and have this program successful. Once again, I thank one and all for being here, and especially the PCO Alcott, who I now know that many of the international delegates know who is Nitesh, because I suppose they have contacted him and they were behind him whenever there was a glitch to work on this. Nitesh and his team, who translocated himself for 14 days here since the initial workshops and school started. And we're very thankful to this team and Chetan, especially, and Nitesh for being here and trying to make this program a very, very successful. Once again, greetings from Hyderabad to one and all. If I missed any name, it is inadvertently. From the bottom of my heart, I thank sincerely for everybody's cooperation and seeing that this conference was successful. Thank you very much. Good night, all our friends.
Recording stopped.